But you're going to see this bubbling pretty quick,
Yeah.
you know. So, we got that finished. Okay. So that was, like I said, good timing for that to quit. But you got to make sure you have the hose long enough because I think it sometimes curls inside. But we'll work that out too. See how things go in just a second. That might work too. Sometimes you prop it up. Might work or it might not. Okay. We'll try this. Okay. You gonna tell me, Mare? No, she's not gonna tell me. Okay. That's going good. Sometimes you need two people to do this as well. Just so you can watch the flow. If you see some bubbles coming through, it means your hose is probably not towards the bottom. But if I can have Mary Jane hold this for me, I'm going to make sure the hose is going to be down all the way. So I'm not sure where this is in the bucket.
Okay.
But it seems to be coming out really well. Sometimes you can cheat trying to take a look. Okay.
Air bubbles.
Yep, okay. What I'm going to do is try to get as much of the hose towards me as possible. I use about a 1/2 inch hose. 5s are good, 6s are pretty good too. You can notice that's filling up really well. Once again, this will clear up, and you can see probably through the other side, and you can see some sediment that is probably going to form after about a week or so. But watch it every day. So definitely a nice conversation piece. And once again, the cork and the airlock go on top of that. When we get done, I'm going to put a little bit of water. I'm going to take this cap out. This cap is there because it stops the flies from coming in, because they obviously like that sweetness thing, or bees, whatever you got. And then you put a little bit of water in that reaches about that level. This goes on top of the cardboard top. And of course, we end up start making wine in that direction. I'm going to rinse this off again, so remind me. That's doing pretty good. I'm hoping that is, you can actually see right here. I think that's where the level is at the moment in regards to filling that up. But I'm not going to use all this juice. I'm going to go right to the shoulder once again. I'm going to leave an air gap for the first time around. But notice how I put the yeast in like the middle or so. That way it mixes pretty well. And if you do that, obviously that's the process I use to make sure that you're making good wine. Any questions? Okay, good. Glad you're still listening. But it's pretty easy. We're almost there. Sometimes you play with it a little bit too. Still got it coming out, right, Mary Jane?
Yep.
Good. A little slow, but we're getting there. We're getting there. This is a lot of fun. This is the Pinot Grigio, as I mentioned. There's some reds that you can do as well. And I like to do a lot of the blending at the end. You know, whether it's Zinfandel and Merlot, I mix it with the Thompson. Or if it's a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I mix it with a Muscat. You can do 50-50. What I've always mentioned to people as well is try to make records of what you do. Because if you do 50-50 mix, we're pretty close, right?
We're there.
Okay. So, what you do, it's easy, crimp the hose. Okay, thank you, Mary Jane, that's perfect. And the rest you can drink for breakfast if you like. So, and next thing, just sanitize as best we can with this too, a bit. Warm water is good. Yep. You could put this in a, well, you can use this, how's that? Maybe I'll grab another couple. One up here?
There's a, what about the stainless steel bowl that's right there?
Do that too. Good. Be on the safe side, right? Rinse it out real good. Use warm water.
If I would have known you were going to be doing
Good.
this in my sink and filming it, I would have put the dishes away.
It's okay. It's fine. It's just like my home. You get that home feeling, you know? So, I'll do this as well. Can't hurt to keep everything sanitized. You know, just mix it around. And look careful you are as far as sanitation is, the better chance you have of making perfect wine. You know, it doesn't hurt to do that. Top comes off of these. Get the water in and out of there. It doesn't hurt it. Do it a couple times. The main part that's going to go in is this anyway. You don't have to worry about the top as much. But these also come apart. The airlock is the plastic part, which I'm showing you right now. And that's just a carboy cork. They're usually 5 and 6 gallons. Sometimes they're different sizes. But notice they vary as far as thickness, because you can use it to way up to here, or if you get a bottle that's really tight, you can use it to there. So I'm going to fill this up to about there, which is almost about right. Okay, so the air is going to come out of here from the bucket. Put that cork on there. Come on. Nice. I've done this before. Once at least. So the air is going to come out here, and it's going to burp. You know, I'm going to try to work with that. So nicely done here. Hopefully this will start relatively soon. But it's pretty easy, you guys. You don't have to squeeze a grape. Buy the buckets of juice. Call Mike the wine guy, and he'll hook you up with stuff. I have directions for this. And I'll steer you in the right direction. We're going to put this in a corner. I'm going to leave that for about a month or so. I don't want you to move it unless it's really necessary. And what I did for Mary Jane is I gave her a crate. What's good, sometimes these bottles would sweat. And it's good to have a container like that or a milk crate, because you got handles on both sides. Your hands get wet. Sometimes this gets heavy. This got to weigh about 45 to 55 pounds. Every gallon weighs about 8 pounds. So you're talking some heavy weight plus the weight of the carboy. So carboy, you got the carboy cork, you got the airlock, just plus the Pinot Grigio inside. So we're going to have some fun with that. Is it starting to bubble? Nice. See? It's actually doing what I thought it was going to do. So that's actually fermenting already. I just took this container out of a 38 to 40 degree cooler. And on the way over, it warmed up a few degrees, which is good. And of course the yeast is starting to work. This is going to bubble a lot more in about an hour and a half or so. And people are going to come over and going, hey, what's going on with that? You know, what are you doing, Mary Jane? It's like, is it right? It's Twilight Zone stuff, you know. But it's as easy to make wine as just pouring it from one container to the next. 1 month in this, and then you rack it into another container. You can rack it right back into here if you want. Just, you know, transfer it back. You don't have to get 2 containers. You can use this, make sure that's clean, as well as I was using the Be Bright, and transfer it real quick and then back. And then when you rack it the second time, you actually want to add a little bit of wine. So if you have some Pinot Grigio, you want to cut the distance to half on the next racking. Mm-hmm. So the shoulder's here. So when you're doing the second racking, pour a little bit of wine from the store in here. Yeah, that's right. So you're going to add the second racking. You're going to add wine because you want to cut the air gap to the next racking, and then that's the first racking. Here's the second, and then you do 3. And when you do the third racking here, and almost all the way up to the top, so you get rid of the air. So that's very helpful. I explained to you as far as being clean. Everything is as clean as possible, and that's pretty much it.
Now, does it matter that it went from like this? These were both half full, and now this one's empty and this one's full, and it's up in the cap. Does that matter, or is that what you want to?
You'll notice that that's going to burp any second. No, the air pressure from here is pushing that, so there's no water on this side. So the pressure is going to be to the point where it's going to burp any second. It'll bubble because that's the air pressure is working.
I've already seen water spit out the top.
Did you? Good. Yeah. Beautiful. There you go. Well, make sure you definitely have water in here, and I usually fill it halfway. And it's definitely going to keep the bugs out. And obviously you can see it working, and it's pretty cool. And like I said, it's just like after we eat, we have gas, and the gas comes up. See, it's pretty cool. But that's as easy as it is. And if you have any questions, go on my website. Once again, I'm Mike Ryan. And we just made some wine. So I'm not whining about it, but if you haven't made it before, make sure you give me a call or look on my website. Facebook, to be exact, is probably best. And it's at ryansproduce.com. All right. See you guys later. All right. Take care.